Okay, we got the question, when did you first hear about 50? So I'm assuming it all ties into that.
Yes. Yep. So Jam Master Jay, the king, best DJ of all DJs, the king of hip hop. Man, just when I met him, it was for me. It was in a moment like Run DMC. You couldn't tell me wasn't the most stylish, the most innovative artist in hip hop. And knowing everyone took their style from how he dressed and his whole aura, he was a street dude, and you could feel it. He was a real one. Randy, the whole squad, they was real. So you was loving that part, and they was from my hood. So when they knew that I was from Hollis, they was took me in. Even though I was more down by Springfield, they was like, "Yo, come, you rock with us." Now they made me do things that like Puffy would make somebody walk the cheesecake and this person go get coffee. They'll make me sit in the car for a few hours. He had a Land Rover, no, some kind of a Range Rover, a Land Rover, something green car, truck. And instead of him paying 30, $50 in parking, he'll make me sit in the car so the meter lady couldn't give a ticket. So I'm sitting in there for hours just so he didn't have to pay nothing. And that was my internship. And then sometimes he'll pull off and then Russell will pull up. One time I sat in Russell's car. And this was like some ill ass expensive Bentley, what I don't even remember what it was, Rolls Royce at the time. And I was sitting there just doing an internship, and then Russell's driver was like, "Yo, you could get out, man, get out." But JMJ was like, "Nah, he's good for that. He's good." So I got tight with them, just doing awkward shit like that. And then eventually they took me to Queens, where they had a studio in Rosedale. And in Rosedale, we would go in the studio, which was in the basement, and they would be playing Lost Boys. They'll be playing Onyx, Sweet Tea, all the things that he was working on at the time. And this one particular day, we was down there. He was running through records, and he played this record to hit. And I heard that shit, and I was like, "Yo, who is that?" Because this is brand new. Nobody ever heard him. I never heard 50, but I knew who he was, but didn't know that that was him. I knew who he was based on his street activities, not even knowing that he was a rapper. And all my homies from Van Buren used to talk about this kid Boo Boo and all the shit he used to do. So when I heard the record, I was like, "Yo, this is different. He's not yelling. Everybody else on other songs is yelling. Their tones was different, more energy. He had a monotone. Wasn't like Nas, wasn't like Mace, but it had that cut to it. I was like, "Yo, Jay, this kid, this the one. I want to work with him." He was like, "Huh? This he ain't even knowing." I was like, "Nah, that's the one." He was like, "You want to meet him?" I said, "Yeah." Literally the same day, not even 30 minutes later, because Fifth lived right off the conduit, and Rosedale is off the conduit. So he went, hopped in his truck, picked 50 up, came back, called Randy, told him come outside. Me and Randy walked outside. I seen this kid walking out his truck. He had 5 quarters in the shape of a cross. And he walked out and he had that aura energy, and I just walked up to him, and that was the introduction through Jam Master Jay. Introduced me to 50, man. That day, to this day, man, think was a blessing, man, because we straight off of that. And we connected immediately. And he saw that I was on it, and I knew people that he knew from Van Buren and shit like that. And then I was started giving him advice away from production, like, "Yo, you need to do this and do that and that." And then I would have my truck. I'd go pick them up, take them to the city, take them to this DJ. You know what I mean? So it started off really well. And then he left Jam Master Jay, but I still stayed there. I did this single for Sweet Tea, and I was producing, and I was doing things with Peter Thomas. How Can I Be Down? I was just doing all kind of stuff through Jam Master Jay. And then they started to fold, but Fifth started to move on. But I kept staying within the Def Jam circle, but keeping my ties, which got me close to Chris Lighty and all the other stuff that I was doing simultaneously while I was meeting with 50. I didn't record a record with him or nothing. It wasn't me even as a producer, even though I liked him. We didn't even record a record under Jam Master J Wing. I was taking him around like, "Yo, meet this DJ or do this," you know what I mean? And eventually, after he left, when he got to Trackmasters, that's the first time I got to do a record with him. A little bit shortly before that, it was actually the first song I ever did with Fifth was at Black Hands Entertainment Studio, and it was "You Ain't No Gangster," and it ended up on the Get Black Gangster soundtrack. So that was like him hearing my beats, and he was just combing through it, and he was like, "Yo, put that one up." And the engineer pulled it up, and he cut the record right there in the studio. First song with him, I was blown away. E Money Bags walked in, and it was just the thug congregation. It was wild in the studio, and Fifth did his thing. And I was like surrounded by some wild killers and gangsters and shit. I'm from the streets, but these niggas was really from the streets. They was on a whole nother level of energy. So me, I'm just trying to make music with them. He saw that and he was like, "Yo, I fucks with you. And then he saw I was connected with everybody, so we just kept building from there. Everybody started bigging him up because he was on some gangster shit. Now, if you count the amount of records that he put, "What Up Gangsta," "If You Ain't No Gangster," he got a lot of gangster records. So that was his word at the time, and that was our first record, and it went off on the soundtrack. People started playing it, and he didn't even call me. That was before I was Shy Money. I was Shy Self at the time. So if you hear it on the beginning, it was like Shy Self. He says my name on it and everything. And yo, that was it. And I did that on the house. Didn't ask nobody for no money. Didn't. I was just trying to get on. And Chaz did that. Took it. 50 was running with him. And that was the beginning of me and him getting started making music right there. That was it. And after he left Chaz Williams, he went on to Trackmasters, and that's where we met again. And that's when it really started. And that's the next chapter.
If you want to see this full interview without having to wait, you can join our YouTube memberships program for just $8 a month. You get the full interview, behind the scenes footage, and no ads. If you want more, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/diverse mentality. And for $10 a month, you can not only get these full interviews immediately, but also get uncut and ad-free documentaries as well. The link is in the description for both.